levels of syntheticism and builds up from there. I would say ultimism covers about 2 years ahead of the occurrence itself. Neoism, wow. Uh, Neoism is essentially the actuality, the actual understanding of ultimatism itself in various ways. There's an actuality in every edition. It's just, of course, the 5th edition being the Actualityism, which is, believe me, extreme. Neoism is probably, I would say 4 to 5 years, maybe 6. I would say 4, 5, or 6 years ahead of the occurrence itself. But actualityism, no. See, now that's where I'm not sure. That, put it this way, I told my friend one time that essentially I am 60 years ahead of that present time, which was 3 months ago. I'm now approaching 72 to 73 years ahead. What that means is that I've explained this in the video, but it's always good to re-clarify because there's a lot of content. I now officially am over 170 plus videos. I can't even clarify what video I spoke this of because I'm moving on. I'm progressing. What that essentially means, 72 to 73 years ahead, means that my interaction levels are not just with time itself, which means pretty much synchronicity itself. Synchronicity being a blip of the eternal spectrum itself. And a shade, you could call it a color, a thought, realization, whatever, of mystery. Definitely an extension of Lady Surprise. And the Lady Luck is behind it as well, but Luck's just as Luck is like perplexed mystery and supra surprisism, you could say. I know surprisism might sound a little off, but honestly, if you had a surprise that you wish for right now, it wouldn't be off. You'd probably mark it on the calendar saying, surprisism expressed and your life fulfilled in so many eternal ways. It's going to be a surprise for everyone. That's another irony. Okay. Okay, so essentially I'm not just working with time. Time is focused on destiny. I, on a very personal level, have worked with irony, vengeance, many others. At one point in my life, I had some thought themes. And I realized literally as of last night, well actually today because it was pretty late in the night, literally found out what that all meant when I was interacting with the eternal spectrum. Me and the eternal spectrum were literally, it almost feels like a first time, I'm not sure, but we were interacting clearly. The eternal spectrum would articulate a level of depth that's going on in the third phase, I guess you could say, in actualityism, and then I would give my level of depth. Of course, we have our own unique looks at it, but the eternal spectrum has got terms I just honestly just cannot define. I mean, it's something I can't define. That's the whole point. Which is perfect at this point because at some point, which is where actualityism hits. At some point, you're not going to learn to understand, but learn to experience. And only through the process of experience itself, and almost, well, pure interaction with experience means practically the most purest synthesized form of evolution capable for being. Because upon the realization, which will dawn, and it's obvious when it hits, a lot of persons like to think and recalibrate while in the middle of an experience. I wouldn't say it breaks the flow, aka uniquism, but I think you know what I mean. Sometimes documenting your experience in real time, it does take away from the glow. Okay, so you can see where this is going. There's a resonating point. Okay, so upon this realization and dawning, then the understanding occurs. It might only be a few key words. And see, the eternal spectrum works in ways where if one additional letter is applied to a term, it's essentially to say it's adding another universe to the equation. It's baffling. I mean, I can fathom that much, but I can't live within that type of spectrum. I mean, I guess I can. I don't know. I'm really this is where doubt is fair. That's the only time where doubt's fair, because you're being realistic. Or you can say you're just being realistic. But that's the only time doubt is actually fair. Not doubt in eternity or evolution. That doubt is dead. That's unnatural doubt. So now essentially you see where doubt can actually be realistic. But you see in the comparison where it stands at. Okay, the eternal spectrum itself. The I mean, the eternal spectrum. It's not a first of a first. I don't even know how to describe this, because she is the first of all firsts. The eternal spectrum existence. Lady Mystery, Lady Surprise, Lady Luck. There might be. I think that's well, life as well. Okay, those. Well, at one point there weren't universes, but only existence. Yeah, this is going back at a time that's just it's a bit far. I don't know how to describe any beginnings with the eternal spectrum and everything else. I mean, I can't. It's not a time process, and that's where the baffling occurs. If time's not part of the equation, then that's to say beginning is not in the dictionary. Okay, what does that mean? To me, I guess I would say the actuality. And that's just how deep actualityism is. It's severe. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's very hardcore. I mean, the WTF factors are flippin' insane as it is. I used to use the term ballistic skills or mad skills when I was hitting like intense, almost traumatic, expressions in the movie, but actualityism somehow catapulted that into the ocean. No flippin' idea how that's even possible, considering the material that I used in unnatural circumstances, but you will not believe how accurate it actually looks. It actually looks quite accurate. The third phase, especially. Well, I mean, again, the metaphors, but once you get a hint of what the metaphors mean, it becomes quite self-explanatory. It's just as you progress in each edition, you're going to see very intense quantifications. Very. As far as other things going on Earth, as I said in my predictions, if you please watch the video I have favorited. This guy's pretty good. He breaks it all down. As I had mentioned in my predictions, that Earth is literally going to create an occurrence to where the government is frozen. First us, which it was, and then Earth. As far as the tens of millions marching in the streets, well, the beauty of it, again, is it didn't take that much, and such visions are at times subject to updates. You can have a precognition, and realize there's a part of precognition that's okay, that's right. But anytime you have a